Hello everyone. I am back, and so this is the second video in the micro series. So let's go over just kind of some high yield stuff to know. Okay, so cysteine, I frequently will hear the mnemonic 4-Ellis in a cysteine chapel. I don't like that one because if you remember just 4-Ellis, then what about Coxiella, or what about Klebsiella? You know, those things might start coming in, and you get all befuddled and can't keep them straight. So I like a mnemonic that one of my friends came up with, which is Pastor Bruce casted a legion out of Francis in the Sistine Chapel. Okay, these are going to grow with cysteine. Okay, Pastor Bruce casted a legion out of Francis in the Sistine Chapel, and those people right there, the Legion, Francis, and Pastor Bruce, those will come back and help us out a little bit later on. So go ahead and get that in your head. What stains with Giemsa? Because it's hard to stain them with traditional staining. Well, these rookie broads are trying to play Chinese, okay? So, right there, rookie broads trying to play Chinese. And I don't mean broads to be offensive at all, okay? Use it in kind of just a fun-loving way that, some people will use it. And so please don't take offense to that if anyone does. Alright, college camp, okay? Now, very quick. Okay, I'm working on some farm series also, and I'll go in more depth on those about cyclic AMP and cyclic GMP, but for right now this will suffice, okay? So cyclic AMP, if you remember, is your sympathetic pathway. Cyclic GMP is going to deal with your parasympathetic pathways, okay? Parasympathetics are going to deal with cyclic GMP, except for your neuromuscular junction and your ganglion, alright? Sympathetic, cyclic AMP, okay, except for your sweat glands, if you remember, alright? So, now, continuing on from there, if you remember, adenylate cyclase is going to work by mechanism of action of the G-coupled protein receptor, GS subunit. That's going to go on to the pKa, and then that's going to eventually come out and produce cyclic AMP. Cyclic GMP, if you remember, is going to have a different pathway, and that's going to deal with your parasympathetics, but we don't need to worry about all of that right now. Just worry about this mostly. Focus on this. If you remember, if you want to inhibit it, you're going to have the GI subunit. It's going to inhibit the GS subunit, okay? Block cyclic AMP production. So now, moving on from there. So you've got B series, okay? You've got Vibrio cholera. Those are going to work by your G subunit to go on and produce the cyclic AMP. And if you notice, just make sure you know too that this camp is cyclic AMP. There is another camp that is less commonly talked about. That is for a test. It's made by like Christine and someone in Munchen and Peterson or something like that. But anyway, it's the camp test, and you're only going to have your group B strep and your listeria that are going to be camp positive. That's for the camp test though, okay? We're talking about cyclic AMP here, mechanisms of action, alright? So you're going to have B series, you're going to have Vibrio cholera, and then the A and the C are capitalized here to remember adenylate cyclase, still going to have the same end product, which is going to be cyclic AMP. N for Montezuma's revenge, that's specifically the E-tech of E. coli, the traveler's diarrhea, and then pertussis, Bordetella pertussis, okay? It's actually going to work by a different mechanism, though. It's going to down-regulate the GI subunit, therefore indirectly up-regulating the GS subunit of cyclic AMP, but those are going to increase your cyclic AMP. That's how these bacteria's mechanism of actions are, okay? And so then, down here, your heat labile, alright? I just think of lamp in my head to keep it straight, and the L is for loose bowel because it's going to cause diarrhea, alright? Your heat stabiles, they can hang around in the gut where it's all hot and, just acidic and everything. They're heat stabile, they hang around in the gut and then make you spit it back up through nausea, okay? The S for sick, okay? And I think I got those actually from Howard Shin's Micronemonics card set. Tetravacuum for thy bedroom. Notice the TH right here is going to be for tularemia and H. pylori. We're not really going to go over those, okay? This is just something to help you out, kind of know what tetracyclines are used for, kind of as a first line. You can use them, okay? Not really that high yield to know probably, but if you can remember it, then that's great to know. Obligate intracellulars, definitely kind of want to know these, alright? And when it's really chilly and cold, okay? So these have to stay in. It's really chilly and cold to them, so they stay inside the cells. Anti-phag capsules, okay, this is important to know. Even some killers have pretty nice pink shiny capsules, okay? When the macrophages go to gobble those up, okay, nom nom nom, they go to gobble them up, right? And then the macrophages themselves are going to explode, okay? It doesn't really touch that bacteria. Faculative Intracellulars, you definitely want to know these. Notice the LY and the F right there are going to be for 3 different bacteria. These can live facultatively. You definitely want to know those, okay? Definitely want to know those. Definitely want to know these right here, especially chlamydia. That's pretty important when you go to look down there or look on microscopy and you don't really see any cells out because they're all hiding inside of your cells, okay? Staining and testing. Let's go over this. Definitely for HIV/AIDS, you want to test for ELISA, confirm with Western blot. Test with ELISA, confirm with Western blot. I promise you, you might run across that. That is very high yield, okay? You see a urine antigen test, you're probably thinking Legionella. You can test for something else, you know, in a urine antigen test, but definitely, and I'm thinking it's probably CMV with the owl's eyes. You'll see something of that nature, but definitely no Legionella for the urine antigen test, okay? Dart field microscopy, when you see that, you can test for like leptospira, but definitely no Treponema pallidum. That's what you're going to see probably on your test. Rapid plasma Regan is another test for Treponema pallidum. Definitely know that. And then Ziehl-Neelsen, you'll see it mentioned as carbonyl fusion or acid fast. Okay, you probably know it as acid fast mostly. I think of my acid fast Cryptocar or Ziehl-Neelsen car. Okay, just to kind of remember all this, just kind of get this all regulated in your mind. That Nocardia, Mycobacterium, and Cryptosporidium. Make sure you don't remember Mycoplasma here as Mycobacterium. Okay. Continuing on, charcoal yeast. Think Legionella. Regan load test. Okay, that has heavily been put out now by the Bordetella test. All right, for Bordetella pertussis. Look, that's in the name, Okay, Bordetella. But note at the Regan load test. Okay, because boards will still test on that sometimes. The Eaton auger. Okay, now Mycoplasma has a fried egg appearance. Okay, so I think that I'm eating on my pretty fried egg because the P, all right, is for plasma, so you don't get that confused with Mycobacterium. Okay, so Eaton auger is Mycoplasma. If you see EMB, M for Montezuma's Revenge, which is E. coli. Okay, EMB or indole positive, they're trying to get you to go with E. coli. Okay. EMB, E. coli is going to have a metallic green sheen on an EMB auger, okay, but just know that's going for E. coli. Alright, your low-cut jeans or low-waist jeans, TB. Think of a patient comes in with TB, they have on low-waist jeans or something, okay, just to get that in your head. Alright, chocolate auger. Here we go. Okay, so chocolate auger is going to let you know whether it's H. ducreyi, Haemophilus influenza B, or Neisseria. So chocolate auger will get it down to those 3. But then here's where you really start differentiating. Okay, if you have heme factors 10 and 5, then that's going to be Haemophilus influenza. All right, if you take away one of those factors and it grows, then you're probably looking at ducreyi. If you come over here to their Martin auger with VPN, then we're talking about Neisseria, and the reason why is because the V is for Vanco. That's going to knock out most of your gram-positives, all right? Except for group D strep, it's gram-positive resistant. But anyway, that'll mostly get your gram-positives, Nystatin, that's going to get off your fungi, okay? And then your trimethoprim is going to be in here in this P zone, and so that's going to take care of most of your gram-negatives except for Neisseria. Give it VPN, still growing, it's Neisseria. Bloody diarrhea, get cheeky with it, okay? Now you got your 3 E's here, 2 C's, 2 S's, and a Y, okay? Those are typically going to cause bloody diarrhea. Salmonella can cause watery diarrhea at first, and then it'll move to bloody diarrhea. Discharges. All right. We see clear, chlamydia. We see gray, Gardnerella. Now, keep in mind, there is some variance, okay? So it could be kind of a grayish green or something of that nature. But now, green is where it gets tricky, though, okay? Green is tricky. Why? Because the Joker's hair is green, and so is the Riddler green, okay? Tricky. It's green. Most commons, let's kind of run through some of these. All right, if you see lung nodules or cavities, you want to start thinking these 3. Have those in your differential. You see croup, it has a barking cough, it's parainfluenza. No questions asked. Pharyngitis, all right. Of course, group A strep for strep, pyo, adenovirus. Okay, if you see diarrhea, you see pharyngitis, some of those kind of distinctive symptoms, and it's a virus, you're going to go with adeno. Okay. Coxsackie can also cause that, alright? And you're going to have gonorrhea that can cause it, seeing an increase in those, okay? And then, of course, C. diff is going to be pretty particular. You're going to know what to look for. It's going to be a gray pseudomembrane, but we'll talk about that more later. Otitis externa, definitely Pseudomonas. Epiglottitis, definitely Haemophilus influenza B. Sinusitis pneumonia or otitis media, remember in these orders right here, okay? Most common cause is going to be strep pneumo, then HIV next, then Warts-Zella, okay? Staph aureus. If all else fails, Staph aureus is probably the reason for something. Staph aureus can cause a whole host of things, including mastitis. All right. Yeah, I think this will get you. One thing I will talk about, if you see a rash that's on someone's hand, on the palms of their hands and the soles of their feet, okay, you're going to think cars immediately. That's going to be for Coxsackie A. Then you're going to have rickettsia, and you're going to have syphilis, all right? If you see a rash on the palm of their hands and the soles of their feet, those are the three you're thinking, all right? And then go from there. Community-acquired pneumonias, all right, strep pneumo, most common, HIV, we've gone over that. But if they're alcoholic or diabetic, you want to start getting these in your differentials. Also, nosocomial could be Klebsiella as well. Thick current jelly sputum, strep pneumo is going to have the rust-colored sputum, kind of blood-tinged, okay. We get over here to neonates, all right, for neonates. Let's see, you're going to have group B strep. We'll talk about that more later. And E. coli, we'll talk about that later as well. We'll talk about all these later, so I need to just quit saying that. But anyway, viral, alright, these are ones for viral. Atypical, mycoplasma pneumonia, that's what I was waiting on. That one right there, you're going to have a non-productive cough. You're going to see on x-ray an incongruency with what they look like versus how they are. They're walking around, they're fine, but on x-ray it just looks like they have all kinds of infiltrates, okay? And they have a non-productive cough. Then you're going to start thinking mycoplasma pneumonia, eosinophilic lung, right there, okay? Hospital-acquired pneumonia, as I said, Klebsiella, pseudos all around in there, and MRSA. If they have AIDS, start thinking this one right here. If you have post-surgery, you could be thinking Staph aureus. And then cystic fibrosis, anything associated with cystic fibrosis, you want to have Pseudomonas as like #1 in your differential. Okay? Alright guys, those are just some high yield concepts. Oh, and most important concept of all, okay? $3. Alright? If these videos are a blessing to you, please by all means feel free to go and donate $3 to my website, joeyjohnsondo.com. Alright, and go to the donate tab. I would much appreciate that, and I hope this has helped. Thanks a lot, guys. We have come to the end.